Happy New Year, Read My Mind Radio family. I missed y'all. I know that may sound weird because I don't personally know everyone who listens and or reads the podcast. Yeah, I said reads. Shout out to all of those who consume the podcast transcripts. Access is dope. Even though I don't personally know everyone consuming the podcast, knowing that you do rock with Read My Mind Radio means we share something. There's an exchange of energy taking place. When I get close to shutting the doors on this thing, something keeps me motivated to rock on. Y'all are a big part of that. Thank you. 2024 will make 10 years that I've been producing audio as Read My Mind Radio. It's also 20 years of becoming blind. It's why I knew I needed to spend some time focusing on what I personally think is the best thing about this podcast, the people. I want to produce more of the episodes that really dive into our experiences. I want to focus on adjustment and how art can aid in the process. I sort of see adjusting as an art form too. There's no one way to do it. However, there's so much creativity involved that I thought it was worth exploring. 10 years of podcasting, 20 years of adjusting to blindness. Hell yeah. Here's the big one, the one I'm the most proud of. Y'all ready? 30 years as a husband to my wife Marlette. Read my mind. Read my mind. 5 years ago, I did something I could have never imagined doing when I was a young kid. In fact, even as an adult, I would have never thought it would be something I would do. In 2019, I celebrated 15 years of being blind.
Hold up. Say what?
Celebrating life, my family, clarity of blindness. When have you heard that phrase before? Clarity of blindness. It's true though. 5 years ago, and still today, I'm aware that my response to becoming blind could have been the beginning of a lifetime of running. Running from blindness, that is. A never-ending marathon of doing everything possible to try and escape it. That sounds exhausting. But there's lots of people needlessly sweating, breathing hard, attempting to get away. Meanwhile, it's always there, whether they acknowledge it or not. But this isn't really about them. Well, not really. This podcast has allowed me to paint profiles of people I find compelling. It's also one of the ways I explore aspects of disability. My way of not running, but rather embracing disability in a way that makes sense for me. This season, I'm challenging myself to create a sort of self-portrait. That's not to say that I'm doing a whole season on my personal experiences, even though some suggested they'd be interested in that. Over the years of speaking with various people on and off the podcast about disability, I realized that although we differ demographically, we can see some aspect of ourselves in each other. More than often, we share the emotions that come out of similar experiences. Sometimes, we may see things in others that we don't like or fear in ourselves. In this season called The Art of Adjustment, I'm speaking with 4 individuals, all with their own stories of adjustment. Every episode this season featuring a guest will be followed up with a continuation of this self-portrait episode. To be honest, I have no idea what that will be. I'm not producing the self-portrait in that straight sort of way. Rather, I'm confident that the experience of adjusting to disability inevitably connects us. And therefore, I'm sure there will be elements of our conversation that run parallel to my life. As I record this episode, I'm thinking I use sound bites of a guest in the self-portrait, or maybe it's something else. I don't know. We'll find out together. This is not about motivation or inspiration. I'm not someone interested in motivational speaking. In fact, I don't really even know what that means.
My name is Matt Foley, and I am a motivational speaker. Now let's get started by letting me give you a little bit of a scenario of what my life is all about. First off, I am 35 years old. I am divorced, and I live in a van down by the river. Now, you kids are probably saying to yourselves, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack squat.
I know there are lots of people with that in their LinkedIn profile and claim to inspire, but what exactly do they do? Ableism just totally messed up the word inspiration for me. I know many of you know what I'm talking about. You've probably been called inspirational for taking a walk, shopping, brushing your own teeth. Inspiring for actually doing something, though? Perhaps? Maybe it's just my own issue. I do, however, want this podcast to encourage those adjusting to disability. Even though circumstances and details are different, I think those adjusting to any situation can be encouraged. But my main concern are those with disabilities. There's an alternative to running away from disability. Stop, turn around, and confront it head on. See what's there. I'm not here to tell anyone how to be blind, how to be disabled, but I am here to tell you that there's real value in examining what it means to you. So I'll examine in real time. In this season, I'm speaking with those who, in their own way, have a variety of outlets that allow them to embrace and explore their disability to determine what it means to them. Whether through artistic endeavors like writing, filmmaking, social entrepreneurships, sports, and more, all of my guests joining me this year have so much to offer the world, their communities, and you. For those new to disability, no matter what that is, my wish is to be a part of you regaining your ability to imagine your future. Recently, a Read My Mind radio family member reminded me of a time in my life when I couldn't see myself in the future. I may have mentioned it here before. I compare it to being in a hallway with no doors. Before blindness, that hallway for me had lots of doors. Each was an opportunity, a place for me to explore if I so choose. Even the doors that were closed were, in my mind, never locked. Being in that hallway, stuck with no doors or opportunities, was, I guess, me feeling despair. It was awful. I don't want that for you. I don't feel that way anymore. And you won't either. Rock with me and the rest of the Read My Mind radio family, and I know one day you'll realize your doors have returned. In this season, I'm going to bring you what you're used to from this podcast. Compelling people impacted by all degrees of blindness and disability in general. Then, in a continuous episode I'm calling My Self-Portrait, I'll tie some aspect of the conversation with my awesome guest to my 20 years of blindness. If you know of anyone you think can benefit or appreciate what we're doing here on RMM Radio, please let them know. We'll be back publishing episodes at 8 p.m. on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. Tell them they should come rock with Read My Mind Radio, available wherever you get podcasts. We have transcripts and more over at readmymind.com. By now, you know. But you can remind them that that's R to the E-I-D,
and that's me in the place to be.
like my last name. Peace.